All right, brother, we're live for
What's going
episode
on?
6. It's been a minute since we've done one, but both of us have been crazy.
Yeah, too much going on.
Nothing planned, but just crazy kind of shit.
Yeah,
So how you doing?
pretty good. Pretty good. Just chugging along, dealing with life.
Yeah, me too.
So, anything new, major going on?
Well, update. I think we were talking about my knees last time.
Yeah.
How bad my knees were. So I don't know if I even texted you about this, but last Sunday, it'll be 2 Sundays ago. I not to get too personal, but I was coming out of the bathroom
Yeah.
after sitting for a little while in there, and we have a bathroom off the kitchen. So I come around the corner in the kitchen, and I was just like, "Holy fuck!" Like I can't walk.
Yeah.
Like my knees hurt so bad. It was like the only way I can explain it to my wife was a super like razor sharp knife that's like electrified, like
Yeah.
slicing through the back of my kneecap.
Holy shit. So, did you
And
go down or?
no, I locked up because I figured if I go down my size, there ain't nobody getting me up myself anyway. So, I mean, I lost a bunch of weight and I'm still going, but I figured if I can't help somebody helping me get up,
Yeah.
if how like, hold on one sec. Sorry. How like, I don't know if you've ever experienced elderly person fall,
Mm.
and before they were kind of not out of it, but before they were weak, they could like push their legs up and kind of help you lift them.
Yeah. Then
You
they
know what I'm saying?
get that wet noodle syndrome afterwards.
Right. And then
Yeah.
the older they get, either they don't know how to push or they just can't. So
Right.
it's wet noodle, like you said. Well,
Yeah.
I knew that if I went down, I was going to be wet noodle because I couldn't, my knees hurt so bad that I couldn't move them. Like
Oh.
they were just locked. So I said, all right, I got to go to the hospital. I said, this is weird. This is not a pain that I've ever felt. All the football injuries I've had, all the surgeries I've had, I've never felt
Right.
a pain like that, like almost like electrified. So I get to my wife's like, I'm not going to the hospital. We're going to the urgent care right across the street since it's right here. And it was a Sunday night. So I get in and there's like one person in front of me. And they call me back and I'm in pain, but I could walk now. And the guy comes in and dude, I don't usually people usually don't freak me out, but I don't know if it was like a Sunday night because it was Sunday night and it was like the only doctor that they could find for Sunday night shift. But he opens the curtain, man, and he's like doing that, and he's like talking to me, and I'm like, holy fuck, I can't take this guy seriously. And he was so strange.
Coked out.
That's what I thought. I'm
Yeah.
thinking like this guy's on like a 48-hour shift or something because he's just like wired and his eyeballs are real big and he's talking real slow and weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even know if I want this guy touching me. So I look over at my wife and my wife looks at me, and once I see her face, all I have to see is her upper lip quiver a little bit and I'll start laughing my ass off. So I did one of those like that, and she lost it, and I was like, "Oh, that was funny." Kind of hold my phone up just to kind of break the tension. So anyway, he looked over at my shit, and he was moving me all different ways, and it wasn't really, bother me too bad. And he must be a leg doctor because he was doing all this stuff my one orthopedic guy would do, like plant my foot down, and then like bend my leg and then plant my foot and then shake as hard as he could to see if the knee was unlocked or disconnected or dislocated, I should say.
Right.
All that was fine. They did a quick X-ray. X-rays were clear. They said, he was like, dude, you look good. Everything looks good. And I said, well, what is going on? He's like, have you lost weight recently? And I said, yeah, like over 50 pounds. And he's like, my man, you got bursitis. And I was like, yeah, I'm not 80.
Right.
Because you always hear like old men say, I got bursitis, right? So the
Right.
first thing that pops into my head is the Jackass skit when they're blowing the air horn when the guys are trying to golf.
Yeah.
I think it might even been from the TV show. It might not even been the movies yet. And the guy gets pissed and he's like, he throws the golf club into the woods and he goes, what's your problem? And Johnny Knoxville goes, I got bursitis. And he says, it makes me feel better, but I got bursitis. Oh, I got bursitis. It feels good. Like that. So that's every time I hear that, I think of Knoxville. So over the years when my daughter would text me, Dad, can you take me down to like McDonald's to get a sandwich or something? And I'm like, no. She's like, why? And I'm like, I got bursitis. And I would do this for years, man. Like, she's 14. She's had a phone since I think we got the phones when they were 10 because they were starting junior or middle school. So that came back to bite me in the ass.
What do you do for that?
They put me on this heavy ass steroid. That's supposed to, because it's a nerve, not like a disease or a nerve,
just inflamed or something.
Yeah. You ever hear that Trigem? It's called. It's called the suicide disease, or the suicide syndrome, and it's a lot of older. Well, I guess anybody can get it, but a lot of people, when they get it, it's so painful that a large percentage of people end up killing themselves.
Wow.
Because it runs down, like if you were to put your 3 fingers out, it kind of runs down your face, like over this side.
Right.
But it runs, apparently it's so bad because it's nerves, it runs into your jaw, under your sinuses, and up through under your eye.
Yeah.
And it's so painful, and that's the pain that they described. The doctor was telling me, because he asked me if I heard of it, and I said, yeah, I got a buddy that deals with it. And he said, so you know how much pain that guy's in? I said, no, he looks like he's ready to shoot himself. He goes, no, that's what you're experiencing right now. He's like, just think your pain, he goes, probably times 2 or 3 in your face. And I was like, and then I got it, like, holy fuck, no wonder they kill themselves.
Right.
Because there's no Trigen comes back. It comes back. There's no, like, I don't think they could take a steroid. It's somebody that gets it and it's gone. But like, at least with my situation, that night, I got to be honest with you, all the pain I went through before I got to the ER or whatever you want to call it, when he told me that's what it was, the amount of relief off my shoulders, because I thought, holy fuck, man, I'm gonna have to go like for surgery tomorrow.
Right.
And now I could I've just finished my steroids, so
and haven't had it since.
I still have it. They said it takes 8 to 12 weeks, 2 to 3 months to be totally gone.
Wow.
But I'm feeling way better. Like, I can actually do shit now. So
that's cool. Damn, dude.
I had no idea. I had no idea, but I knew the pain was so different this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it actually, it scared me a little bit, because I'm thinking, like, I think the worst, like blood clot, because you always hear blood clots in your legs.
Yeah, same thing, man.
But it wasn't like they were in my like thighs or calves. It was the same spot in each leg, inner leg where the bones meet. There's nerves that run through there that are apparently just fucking screaming. And
Right.
man, I don't. All the years I made some fun of the
Bursitis people.
bursitis, and it came back to bite me. Now I can actually use it with her. She's like, "Dad, can you take me down there?" Seriously, I can't.
Bursitis.
They told me I had to stay off my. It's weight. What do they call this? You have to stay off your feet for an advanced period of time, and I'm like, that's not going to happen. I have to work, and so he's like, well, it's going to take longer. I'm like, well, as long as it feels better, I can deal with it.
Right.
So,
wow, that's nuts. Well, I'm glad they figured it out, and
dude, I'm so relieved if that's what it is. And like I said, it's been getting better each day. I can actually walk up steps like a normal human again, and
yeah.
But,
dude, I'm the same way. Like you were saying, it's like, I got like a pain in my thumb. Is that cancer? What is that? You know what I mean? I'm automatically like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
Thumb hurts. I'm dying.
See, you're like me, man. Like, I could take so much pain as something, but if I know it's different or if it's something's not right, like I've knock wood, I've never had like a head thing where I feel dizzy or I'm like, oh man, something's bad, something's happening. Somebody better take me to the hospital. Or I never had like chest pains that I had to be rushed to the hospital. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been pretty lucky, man. So I said to her, I'm like, if that's all it is, I am not complaining about shit for the rest of the year.
Yeah. No, the chest stuff isn't fun. Because like I said, I have that AFib. I've been in the hospital twice. That shit. That's scary.
Well, it's weird, man, and I don't know if I'm ever going to publish this shit, but dealing with depression the last 6 months, I've been writing everything. Mm-hmm. I have like 4 big notebooks filled.
Wow.
Anything that pops into my head, I'll write.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I'm pissed, whether I'm fucking, which is never really pissed, but whether I'm feeling down, I write what I'm feeling. But then that brings out, like, I'll smoke my doob, and then that brings out like the past shit, and that gets me happy, and it writes. I have all these fucking stories of when I was a kid now written out, and I totally forget where I was going with this story.
That's cool though. I mean, that's like, I've always heard of people like kept journals since they were like 10. Well, and now they're like 80 something. It's like, that's amazing, man. Imagine what's written in those books.
It's weird. Like, it didn't start out that way for me, because when I started it, I was in some pretty bad spot mind wise. Like, I've never, which is this, I'm going to be totally honest, I've never even thought of like suicide or anything, but I could get pretty dark. Like, I don't want to be even looked at. Like, just leave me alone. So it's kind of, I'm like, I really got to get a therapist. I got to figure out what's going on. So my wife was she's in the transition of the new job and everything, and our insurance is changing and shit. So I'm like, all right, well, I have to wait until she starts her new thing, which is this Monday. And I said, I'm just going to hit Google and research the shit out of not so much remedies, but like what I could do to cope until I can go talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's everything I saw was write it down, write what you're feeling down.
Huh.
And that's what I've been doing. And it's like, it's so weird, but it's like, it just cleared out everything.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's nothing like terrible. That's the thing. It's all, I mean, as far, I'm definitely, as of next week, I'm going to start looking for a therapist. But just by reading back a lot of it, I'm like, this is all about, growing up and being a fucking adult. Like, I really don't want to be an adult, like I can't let go of my childhood.
Yeah.
I know they're going to be like, yeah, well, that's a big deal. And I'm going to be like, fuck you. 'Cause that's my favorite part of my life. So, other than my wife and kids, I could give a shit about now. I want to go back then,
Dude, we're old enough now. Ain't no use letting go. You know what I mean?
What I did.
Yeah. What are we going to do? The last 10 years? Not.
But like, each book got funnier and funnier. Like, when I read it back, I mean, I always, I always got high as shit and then wrote,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a lot of people say. A lot of people say I was reading comedian stuff too, and they were saying, "Dude, I smoke like 3 joints and just write because the next day you're not going to remember what you wrote, so you might as well go back and read what you wrote."
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'll try that, And like it was weird because like the next day I woke up and I was in a good mood.
Mm-hmm.
And even my wife's like, "Oh, that didn't last too long this time," and I was like, almost like, "What didn't last too long?" And she's like, "You were in a bad mood yesterday," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. I feel better."
Yeah.
So I came to the desk, have the notebook, which here's the latest one right here. It's almost a quarter filled already.
Holy shit.
But I was like, read the last day because I was like, I forget what I wrote in here. And I was laughing at myself reading. And I said to my wife, I'm like, I think you better read this. Like, she hasn't read any of this shit yet. Because I said,
Right.
if you want to read it, that's fine. But I have to be here while you read it, kind of thing.
Right.
So she read yesterday's entry or the day before. And she's like, holy fuck, that is funny. So she's like, later on, she comes back to me. She's like, would you ever think about publishing that shit? Like, and I'm like, no. And then she's like, I said, well, when I'm in a great mood, we'll go through it all and see.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at.
That's cool. Hey, if it's helping, man, that's killer.
That's the most important thing. Like, and I've been in a really good mood, pretty good place. And it's funny, man, like nothing really sets it off. That's the thing that pisses me off the most about the depression is like, I'm sure you know too, is like you wake up in the morning and it's like, this fucking pillow disgusts me. And it's fucking the color of this pillow is brown. It's been brown for 20 years. Like it's a brown flannel pillow. But now that day, it's just like you look at it and it's like,
yeah, I just get in funks, man, out of nowhere. It might last a day, it might last a week. But
do you ever get like antsy? Your patience level just is this big.
Yeah, I try and watch myself when that's happening. You know what I mean? Because like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm starting to realize it with me that it's happening when it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the weird because I was never like that. So that's like the weird trying to deal with that now.
Yeah.
Fucking old, man.
I'm telling you.
So anyway, man, how you been?
Pretty good.
Health is good with you too?
Yeah, on a monitor right now, just monitoring my heartbeat.
Yeah.
But they do that every so often. Like I said, I got that AFib thing. So
yeah.
But other than
everything's good with that though?
Yeah, everything's
cool.
Good. Just dealing with all the other stupid shit in life, cars breaking down. And
I know. If everybody doesn't know, Greeno and I were talking about this before we came on live about our cars being fixed and adulting.
Oh man,
it's not fun.
Yeah. Well, you want to jump into some of this stuff? And
yeah, man, go ahead. I always like to have you go first, man.
All right.
Age before beauty, as they say.
There you go. Small beard, big beard.
Yeah. And we're old and we ain't beautiful.
So always watching movies.
Anything new? Are you doing the movie stuff?
Yeah, just like I said, I'm always watching movies. So I got a new one new old one on Blu-ray finally, which is
that's finally out.
Yeah, it's just a classic. Had to pick it up. I have it on DVD on one of those, like 2 or 3 on one.
Is that Shout Factory or?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Scream, Shout, yeah.
Same thing.
Huh?
How's it look?
Oh, it's freaking awesome, dude. I mean, and there's a lot of bonus stuff on it.
We call it boner stuff because I'm like 10.
There you go.
Yeah, those when they add a lot, a quantity. What am I trying to say? When they add a lot of bonus stuff on those older films,
yeah,
man, it's like it's so old. Like when did that come out? 54.
Yeah, I think so. 56. Very close.
56. So think about like 64 years ago.
Yeah,
Does that sound right?
that's close enough. I ain't doing
Close enough. All that shit that they found for that release, man, or after all these years is crazy.
Yeah, I mean they go back and find all kind of extra footage,
Right.
and then they kind of put like a little documentary about it together about what was going on. And it's actually cool to see that, and they give you like what went into the making and and all that. But they also there's a commentary on here. I haven't got to the commentary yet,
Right.
but I know I'm officially a movie geek or whatever because I freaking love these commentaries. Sometimes if they have the right people doing them, to just like you're watching the movie and hearing them talk. And they're like, and if you look at that picture on the wall there, that was also in the 1954 version of. I mean, it's like, how do you know all this?
I know,
shit?
dude. And I
But
was never
it's interesting.
I was never I mean, the only reason I love DVDs, obviously, because they look great back when they first came out, was the bonus shit on it.
Yeah.
But I never listened to the commentary up until, I don't know, I think it was like Jay and Silent Bob did the commentary for Jay and Silent Bob movie. So it was like another whole soundtrack. You're watching the movie of them talking about the movie as Jay and Silent Bob. Some of that was funny as shit because Jay,
yeah, man.
I mean, Jay spits. I mean, he's pretty good at, on the ball. He's pretty on the ball with coming up with shit right on the fly, so.
Yeah, I love them, man. I mean, like I said, if you have the right people doing them, I like having like an historian do them. And then, it's cool if they have like a director and one of the actors or something. And it kind of gives you behind the scenes. But like sometimes with the historians, it's like, when you would watch like Spenguli now.
Oh, yeah.
And he breaks it down, who all's in the movie, what else they've been in. And you're watching one of these sometimes, man, and the historian's just like every person that walks into the frame almost. He's telling you, hey, here's the movies he was in, what happened to him, how they, are they still alive, are they dead? It's just cool to.
I know.
I mean, you got to be deep into the movies and all that, which I'm not going to watch commentary on The Matrix or something.
Nah, me neither.
Yeah, but I dig these really old movies, and I think it's very cool to, And dude, Scream, Shout Factory is just killing it right now with all these old sci-fi and horror. Like they're doing all the Hammer stuff and
because they ran through like a shit ton of 80s films, 80s horror. I mean,
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of going back, which I'm cool with. That's my more my area.
Yeah. See, I'm more 80s and up to now, and it's funny because you're more late 70s and back, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
So that's what's cool. It's like, yo, I'll ask you ever see this film? Is it good? And you're like, nah, don't get it or go for it.
Right.
What I mean?
Yeah. So you watch anything this week? Or
yeah, dude, I was bummed because I was gonna watch this last night. Well, these two things, but I don't know if I showed this last time. We did watch this finally.
Oh, what are your thoughts, man?
Reboot?
Yeah.
Did you see it yet?
Yeah, we watched it last week or so.
Dude, I loved it. And it was one of those things where while I was watching it, I was like, this is the same joke, the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. But I had no problem with it because I thought this film brought a lot of heart to it as far as the father-daughter thing goes.
I liked it. It was cool,
Mm-hmm.
Both of them have their daughter in the movie,
Right.
But I wasn't over the moon for it. Like, and that's I'm not being negative about it, but it was like a love letter to wrap everything up, kind of.
Yes,
which
exactly.
If you've been in for the ride, it was a great movie.
Yeah.
But overall, it was like, man, it's just. I wish there was some. I mean, I can't put my finger on it. What is kind of to me?
You're absolutely right. It was a love letter to the fans, I think, because I don't really, unless, who knows, but if it ever do it again, but I just don't see them doing the Jay and Silent Bob thing in a movie again.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the closing of the door on.
Yeah, I mean, even on the extras on here, they were doing the last day rap, the rap scene or whatever they call it. It's the last scene for the movie. And Kevin Smith couldn't even get through it.
Yeah.
Because he knew it was the last one. He didn't even have a line, but he just kept bawling. And it was like, and I think that's when I figured, dude, he's never going to do these characters again. That's why he's so emotional this time.
Yeah, I was following him, YouTube and maybe Facebook, I can't remember, mainly YouTube, as he was making this movie, and he was putting out little videos talking about this, and hey, we're filming here, and blah blah blah. You could just tell, man. I mean, like I said, it was almost like hey, we're getting the gang back together. We're going to do one more, and then we're done. But what was kind of cool with that is Ben Affleck, the whole thing that happened with him.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even written into the movie, when it started, and they were already filming because Kevin Smith and Affleck hadn't talked in years. There wasn't like a rift between them, but they had just kind of drifted apart.
There was, I think Kevin had said that there was a little something there. He denied it all these years that we just kind of drifted apart. But I think he finally said in one of his he was really thin when he did the interview. So it's pretty recent that there was definitely a little, but he didn't go into it. So
but it was kind of cool. Somehow it was the dude from Fox 5 in Washington, DC, who does the movies reviews and all that, Kevin something. And he was talking to one of them and talking to the other one. It's like, hey, how come Ben's not in, your movie? And, and somehow he got them together to where they were texting, and Kevin Smith's like, do you want to do this, man? And Affleck's like, hell yeah. And he actually wrote a scene for him for like, I think the next day or a couple of days later to get him into the movie, and again, that goes back to, we're getting the gang back together. We get everybody in this that we can get. And I'm not talking about all this because I'm not a Ben Affleck fan for some reason. I'm
not at all.
Yeah.
I can't stand the dude.
Yeah. I don't know why. I'm kind of the same way.
I can tell you exactly why.
He plays a good prick. Like he was a prick in Mallrats. He was a prick in what was the 70s, Dazed and Confused.
Yep.
And he always comes off as a prick to me.
You know why? Because he's a fucking prick.
You're probably right. A pretty boy prick.
Yeah. And I felt the same way. Like, he's not a terrible actor, but there's just something about his face that you want to punch.
Same way, man.
And like
he might be
his partner for years. What was that kid's name?
The Born Identity guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I dig him. I don't have any trouble.
He's the total opposite for me, man. Like that guy, he could be a giant dick in real life, but he comes off as pretty genuine and like, humble. Yeah. He's an actor, so he could be fooling the shit out of everybody, but
like, well, Ben Affleck, I mean, he might be the nicest guy in the world.
I don't see that at all.
Yeah, I don't either, because it's just the whole J-Lo thing and all that. It's like, this guy, man, just go away.
He was the bomb in Phantoms, yo.
I don't know if I've seen that.
That's a line from the first Jay and Bob.
I don't remember.
He's like, Affleck, you were the bomb in Phantoms, yo.
I don't remember that.
But two other ones I got real quick, because I'm not going to say much about them because I just got them. Like Scream Factory, I think Arrow Video, since they started releasing stuff over here, I used to get their, which I still do, but I don't have to as much, but I would get all the UK ones, the Region B ones, because they would do some killer titles. So finally, I think it was, 2 years now? That it's probably been 5, but it's felt like 2 years they started doing the US company, the US Arrow. So they released the limited edition RoboCop.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen that.
And this has it's a huge box. It has a big, like the Arrow does. They have the book in it, and the only reason I got it because I didn't fall for all those RoboCop Blu-ray reissues that they've been doing over the years.
Yeah,
because I wasn't 100% sure if the director's cut was on it or not. So I just kept my regular DVD that had the director's cut.
Right.
And it could be. I just never if it didn't say it on the cover, I'm like, I'm not buying it.
Right.
Just, you know, but this one has the director's cut and the theatrical version. But the amount, like we were talking, bonus material on this is silly, man. How much shit's on here?
That's killer. Arrows kind of reminds me of like the UK version of Criterion. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? How
per
they
yeah.
go overboard, man, and do a really nice job on.
And the things that suck though, man, these things go out of print so quick. The limited ones, like you can buy this right now, just as well. This has the 2 disc because it has the theatrical version.
Mm-hmm.
But you could buy this right now. I think it even looks just like that in the regular case.
Yeah.
But it only has 1 disc. It doesn't have the second disc with the theatrical version on it.
Right.
At least that's what I read online at a couple places because I wanted to make sure. I'm like, it's kind of weird that they took the theatrical version out.
Yeah.
You would, but I can't wait to watch it because it's one of those films I didn't think would hold up, but it was on TV like 3 weeks ago, and I watched it, and I forgot Red Foreman's the bad guy in it from that '70s show.
Really, dude?
Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen that since the '80s.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, oh shit, it's Red. And I was like, all right.
Great.
So I knew Arrow had released this, and I went on Amazon and I was looking, and it was weird, but they had just released it by itself, the case, like the one just the case, the case, the unrated version.
Right.
And but I saw the limited underneath it, and the regular version. I think Arrow, they don't go any lower than $27.99 usually, unless it's which like this next film I'll show real quick, but unless it's a film that's new, then they kind of have a little cheaper price point on it, which I think is cool. But this one was $50. So I was like, all right, I'll just get the regular version because that's all I want is the director's cut.
Right.
So, the weirdest thing, I was like doing my order at work, and this shows up on the sheet, on the release sheet, the limited one, and it said cutout next to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I called my guy and I said, oh, by the way, I did the order, and I said, by the way, that RoboCop cutout. He's like, yeah, that's the Arrow one because they're releasing single disc, so we're just sending back these. And I said, well, how much is it? And he's like, $24.99. I'm like, send me one.
Yeah, man.
I got it.
That's what I was going to show you real quick. I got one in my Amazon basket or whatever. It's have you ever seen Psychomania?
No, but I saw. I mean, I've seen that. That might be in my wish list on Amazon.
That looks pretty cool. So
yeah, I have it in the wish list. I think in my wish list. But the other movie I just got late last night because now Amazon comes at like 10 o'clock at night apparently. So my doorbell rings. And I look out and there's an Amazon package. I felt like the beginning of a horror movie. Like I was going to poke my head out and the clown would nail me.
Right.
But the movie's called Dead Center.
Oh, what year is that?
This year, brand new.
Oh.
But I think a lot of it, that's the inner cover. I switched the cover around. You know how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's probably the cover you'll see on Amazon. But I just watched, they had the trailer up, and on something else I was watching on Arrow this week. And the trailer for this came up. And I don't know any of the actors in it or anybody directing it. I'm not 100% sure who they are, but 30 seconds into the trailer, I was hooked on it. So I was like, I got to check this out. So
that's cool.
I went to Amazon. And like I said earlier about the, when they do new movies, sometimes they'll drop the price. So I think this was like $16.99.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I was like, all right, that was intriguing. And the trailer, the first 30 seconds of the trailer was cool enough for me to buy it. And I didn't watch the rest of the trailer. So,
a lot of that stuff, like end up getting a lot of Scream, Shout Factory, Kino Lorber stuff, and
Kino's been kicking ass lately,
yeah,
man.
and Mill Creek's doing really good now too. But it seems like a lot of that stuff. Mill Creek was like a
They were really cheesy for
yeah. But dude, they're doing killer DVDs now and all that, and pretty
Are they?
yeah, and pretty inexpensive. But
That's
like
my favorite part. Inexpensive.
yeah, a lot of that stuff comes out and it's like $25-$30.
I know, man.
And I just kind of wait on it and it'll creep down, you know. Once it gets down below 20, I might grab one here and there, but you know.
You're the same way I am, dude.
Yeah.
Some of the, and it's funny because like some of the major studio releases, I just dump it all. If I want to see like the Avengers, like anything, I dump it in my cart, or not my cart, but in my wish list on Amazon. And then after we eat on Thanksgiving, I'll run down and I'll separate all the major studio releases to see what's on sale for like $3.99, $4.99.
Oh yeah, man!
And just buy them then. Every year, dude, I would say my cart, I would put like 15 to 20 Blu-rays in my cart, and then they were always like under $10. And then I'd see the total and be like, oh, fuck that. And then go through the cart and delete the ones that I'm like, I'll wait for that. Like, I just got Dirty Grandpa with De Niro.
Yeah.
It was like $6.99 last year. And I'm like, I want it for the bloopers and shit. So I'm like, I'll wait. I got it for $3.99 like
there you go.
3 weeks ago. So
hell yeah. That's like Mill Creek talking about them. Do you remember the movie Hudson Hawk?
Absolutely.
Fucking love that movie, right?
Is it out?
Yeah, they put it out on Blu-ray. It's like $8, dude.
Where, on Amazon?
Yeah.
All right,
Mill
I'm going.
Creek. Yeah, I got it in the basket. So, or actually,
the Walmart, or not Walmart, the Target lady. All of a sudden, you'll tell me about a Blu-ray and I'll disappear.
Hold on a minute.
I'll be like, found it.
Dude, I love that movie. It's like the most fucking ridiculous.
That's the best part. Totally fucking. What was that? That was like 90 or 91.
Yeah, right around in there.
Like the total. It was like the leftover 80s cheese, but now they started hitting like the really bad scripts.
Yeah, it was the first time I saw that. I was like, what the hell's going on? Because they were singing like time and everything, and yeah, it's like that's probably my favorite Bruce Willis movie, man. I love
that. Was like the first time I saw Bulletproof with Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler.
I don't know if I've seen that.
It was like, I'm pretty sure it was Sandler's first rated R movie, but it was like in that period of Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison.
Yeah,
it was like right in that right in that era, and the script and the jokes, most of them were so fucking bad, but the way each guy delivered them to each other was fucking hysterical, man. Like they let Adam Sandler go nuts doing all his, goofy, like, ooh, and all that shit. And at the time, I fucking hated Adam Sandler. Like, me and my wife watched Billy Madison, and we were sitting there not laughing. I'm like, this is the stupidest fucking movie. And we made it through, but I'm like, I can't believe we rented that.
Yeah.
So then, like 2 months later, her brother comes up. Her brother was just out of high school or graduating. And me and my wife were in our first apartment. So either he was on break or had graduated. And he comes down, and we had a Blockbuster literally in our backyard. So he's like, you want to go rent a movie? I said, yeah, man, there's a couple things I want to watch. So I'm in the horror section looking. He comes running over, and he's like, dude, Billy Madison, huh? You saw this, right? And I'm like, yeah, that movie sucked balls, man. He's like, he was so fucking floored that I hated it. Knowing me. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I fucking hated it. I thought it was the stupidest thing. And he's like, oh, man. And I'm like, if you want to rent it, I'll watch it again. But so he puts it in, and I'm like watching it. And it gets to the part where he goes in the golf cart to go find the nudie magazines at the mailbox.
Yeah.
And Billy Madison. And I'm fucking laughing now, all of a sudden, because he's chasing the penguin up the driveway.
Right.
And I'm laughing my ass off. And I'm like, why wasn't this funny the other day? Right. It's like one of those weirdest things, but it dawned on me. I was listening to my brother-in-law laugh his ass off.
I was getting ready to say, sometimes it depends on who you're watching with.
Yep. And he was making me laugh at the stupidest shit. And I'm like, oh my God, this is brilliant. This is actually fucking brilliant.
Right.
It's so stupid. It's brilliant, you know? And that's the way I felt getting back to Jay and Bob, the new one, is the, like you said, it was a heartfelt Kevin Smith, bon voyage to the characters.
Yeah.
I think it affected him more than he thought it was going to. But I think after him was dying a couple years ago, and that really scared the shit out of him. And
I think
I'm glad everybody was back, except for Randall.
Yeah, I think you're right. He had like everybody in that.
No Randall this time. Unless Randall looks totally fucking different than he did in Clerks 2. But I didn't see him.
And what's her name's dead? I know that. The one from the first Clerks. The chick.
The one that rode the Stiff and the John?
Yeah.
She died? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think she died 3, 4, or 5 years ago.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
What? Natural shit or cancer?
I don't think so.
Druggage?
Bad living, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe wrong there, but
she was pretty, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
She had the curly dark hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, she was pretty.
Yeah.
I don't think she did much after that movie, though, right?
No, I don't think so. But it was cool. I mean, they had everybody in there, even the comic book men, the whole nine, It was...
And the little kids at the beginning of, or was that one of the, that might have been one of the cut scenes. I think it was one of the cut scenes, the deleted scenes.
I haven't watched all that yet.
The little kids at the beginning of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, that they sing the $15, little man. Put that shit. Those little kids that say March Day and the motherfucking time. He's like, that's a gay band from that 80s film or whatever.
Yeah.
And in one of the deleted scenes, the kids are in it. And I swear to God, they're like in their 30s now or something. It's so fucking weird because that movie was what, 20 some years ago?
Yeah.
And now they're adults. And Jay's like, oh, by the way, man, can we get some weed from you? And the kids are like, I've been waiting 25 years to say this. He's like, $15, little man. And Jay's like, fuck you, or something like that,
I gotta go back and watch it again. I think my expectation was a little too high.
Mine was too. I thought it was going to be more like Strike Back.
Yeah.
Where it was going to be full on nonsense the whole time.
Right.
But when it got pretty heartfelt towards the end, I figured I got it, like, okay, I know what he's going for now. And that to me made it even better.
Cool movie. Oh, by the way, while we're talking about stuff we watched, have you checked out Lock and Key on Netflix?
Not yet.
It's not bad, man. I mean, it's an independent comic book, and we just didn't have anything to watch last weekend, I think it was. Like Friday night, I was like, you want to try this Lock and Key? Everybody's talking about it.
Is it animated or is it live action?
No, it's live action. It's 10 episodes, and by the end of the weekend, we had already watched all of them. I mean, they're pretty good. It's a cool spin. I really dug it, but as you're watching it, there's times when you're like, fuck, I just wish you would die. You know what I mean? You're so stupid. Your character's so stupid. You know what I mean?
I was like that with Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
I've never watched.
I never watched it until last year, and then me and my wife binged the shit out of it. And there's this character, I think he was the second king on there. He's like 16. I think if I saw that kid on the street right now, I would fucking go up and RKO him out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He has that face that you just want to fucking take a baseball bat to. And he was such a dick on that on that show, which by the way, I hated Game of Thrones. So
yeah, I could never. I call it dragon porn.
I got through it. It wasn't even that. Like that's what made me stay on, hoping there would be more titties and stuff on it, and that was not the case at all towards the last couple seasons.
Oh man, my wife and daughter freaking loved it, man. Just loved it.
My wife loved it too. And I don't. Maybe it was like I don't know.
But the whole lock and key thing, dude, is like
that was Image Comics, right? That did that.
I think maybe.
Yeah.
But there's like scenes where something happens and now it's the action's going, and it gets to a point when you can stop it right here. No, let's not do that. Let's do this.
They kind of keep pushing it.
Yeah, but to keep it going, I guess. But then at the end, we were looking up, hey, who did this and blah blah blah. It's freaking Stephen King's son. He wrote
Joe Hill.
Yeah. So
that makes sense then. If Joe Hill likes more story than his father does.
Really?
He likes more detail than his father does.
Dude, this thing.
I'm not a big fan of Joe Hill, to be honest with you. Yeah, not yet, anyway. I think he still needs a little. I don't know what. He's not his dad for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't expect him to be. But there's just something that's not quite there yet. But he's there. He's close, I think. And I could be way off. Other people might worship that guy, but I just don't like his style.
Like I said, I didn't even know he was doing stuff.
Yeah.
We ended up it's totally worth watching. I'll put it that way. You know what I mean?
I'll definitely check it out. Yeah. If you recommend it, I'll watch it.
The whole premise is their family, the dad gets murdered, the mom and the 3 kids move back to the dad's childhood home. And it's this giant mansion like up in New England.
Nice.
And there's keys hidden everywhere. And they're like, the keys whisper and the kids can hear them and they find them. And these keys fit certain things and they all do something. They're all magical.
Holy shit.
And there's a demon involved and all. It's pretty good, man.
I didn't think that. I wasn't expecting that was going to be the storyline.
That
you just said.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I might be scared right now. No, that sounds pretty fucking dope.
Like the family's name is Locke, their last name. Yeah. And it's Lock and Keys is the name of the deal. But it's like, if you see the poster for it, the ad or whatever, it's like a old skeleton key in the back of somebody's neck.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens in the show. It's like that key does something. It fits into everybody's neck and it allows them to do something. It's pretty crazy, man. It's if nothing else, it's new. It's like a fresh idea to me anyways. I don't recall anything like that before.
Were you a fan of I think the show originally started on Sci-Fi for a couple seasons. God damn it. I knew I was going to forget the name of it. And now it's on, I think it's a Netflix, exclusive now. Was it something Island or I forget, man. But the first season it was bizarre. Had like this tooth monster guy. Do you know what I'm talking about at all? God damn it. I had the name in my head a second ago. But anyway, I'll remember it when we're talking about something else. But that series, anyway, was 1 or 2 seasons on Sci-Fi Network, and then they dropped it, and Netflix picked it up. But they do kind of like what American Horror Story does. It's different every season.
Like an anthology kind of, or an arc for each season? Or
something? Not even an arc, though. It's just a different 10 episodes every season. It has nothing to do with anything from prior.
Oh, wow.
Know. Huh. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like a Canadian drama horror, that Netflix seems to do a lot of.
That sounds right, because Sci-Fi Channel picks up a lot of that Canadian stuff.
You know what I mean? I just can't remember the name of it.
There was a sci-fi show called Dark something I was watching. I watched a couple seasons of that on Netflix, but it was a sci-fi out of Canada.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I mean, for what it was.
But the first season of this show was so bizarre. And it had to do with like a childhood, like Howdy Doody type show
Yeah,
from their when they were kids, and it almost had like an It feel to it, kind of.
that's cool.
But it was so fucking bizarre that I was kind of bummed. Like when the second season came out, I'm like, oh my god, they're done with that whole story.
Yeah. Nah, I don't think I've ever seen that.
I'll think of the title, man. I think they're in like fourth or fifth season now, but I haven't watched any of the other ones, man.
That's cool.
So, dude, man, have you been listening to anything that's kicked you in the ass the last couple days, new wise, or last couple weeks since we haven't done anything?
Yeah, one I can't get off the turntable right now, and
What's that?
This come out last year, I think, and I picked it up right when it came out. I think I even pre-ordered it, but I'm just now getting around to spinning it. And that's the new Savage Master.
Oh, I saw your pictures. Is that the one with the gatefold?
Yeah.
Yep.
Killer band out of Louisville, Kentucky, if I remember right. Female singer, and they're just totally old school, man. And she is not the best singer, I'll say that. However, this is like 80s underground B-level metal, you know what I mean? But like I said, she's not the best singer, but her voice is absolutely perfect.
I'm going to compare to somebody, and I'm going to see if this matches and see if this person in your head. If you had to, I don't know what this chick sounds like on here, but if my guess would be the way you described her would be Leather from Chastain.
That's very good. Leather is probably a better singer.
That's her name, right? Leather.
Yeah, Leather. Yeah. Leather Leone, I think it was.
Yes, Leather Leone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Leather was definitely a decent singer, but it was when I first heard Chastain, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This chick isn't as Leather has some leather lungs.
Yes, she does.
This chick's more, I mean, she definitely has that metal vocal thing, but there's times when you're listening to her, it's like, I think she was off there a little bit or something. What was that? But it's like, you know what? That's fine. Fuck it. It's metal. Keep going. And it fits, man. These guys, this album's great. This is their third full length, and they also have an EP. And I've picked up all of them so far. I really dig them. And it's very, if you dig 80s, old school underground metal, it's what these guys are.
Nice. And I can't believe you just used the term leather lungs.
I always said that with her, man.
Did I tell you that I've told you that story before about the Phillies?
All
right, dude. It's so fucking weird because I've never heard the term before.
Yeah.
Mike and Dave are at the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Dave is 67. He's like my second dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me and him get along like pop and son. Our other partner, Mike, is in his 50s. So it's like I'm in my late 40s. He's in his mid to late 50s, and Dave's like dad.
Yeah.
So Dave and Mike used to go to spring training for the Phillies every year when they were younger.
Uh-huh.
So while they were down, the last time they were down there was the 93 Phillies, the year the 93 Phillies went to the World Series. But nobody knew that they were going to go to the World Series because the year before they were in last place. So they had gotten Pete Incaviglia, who I ended up loving, and a couple other, we call them scrubs.
Mm-hmm.
And we really thought, like, this team is just a shit team. They're just paying the least amount of money they can to put product on the field, which probably was the case, but it happened to work out. So Incaviglia was one of those guys that, like, wasn't that great, had power, but, whatever.
Right.
Kind of like one of those mid-tier guys. So Mike is a loudmouth, and he's one of the funniest fucking guys you'll ever meet. So every time Incaviglia came up to bat, he would be like, boo, you suck, blah, 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 like giving this guy a bunch of shit, right?
Right.
So the third at bat, he fucking nails a like 500-foot home run. And he's coming around third, and he's looking for Mike.
Yeah.
Right? And Mike's just sitting there, and he's like clapping. He's like, yeah, you got to do that shit, you know. So meanwhile, like Harry Callis and um, he was our main announcer from 1971 up until he passed in like '09,
Mhm.
and his partner Whitey was Richie Ashburn, was an all-star baseball player here in Philly years and years ago. So they were the two announcers. And for the whole week, they had heard Mike yelling. And everybody on the radio can hear Mike yelling.
Right.
But they didn't, since they were at the game, they didn't hear it. So the first week, this was the last week of spring training. So then the first week, they're in Philly for the first opening week. And they have tickets for the first 3 games of the series.
Right.
So you know where I'm going with this, right? So Dave couldn't go one night because his dad was sick, and his dad lived up in Connecticut or Boston, which his dad just recently passed. But his dad, Dave, was on his way back. It was the Sunday game. He's on his way back, and he has the game on, and he's on the Northeast Extension, which runs from north to south through Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania. So he gets right in the middle of Pennsylvania where he could pick the game up.
Uh-huh.
It's quiet, and who does he hear on there? Fucking Mike yelling every F word. Fuck you. Rah, 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 rah. Harry Callis goes to Whitey. Well, sounds like old Leather Lungs is back this week. So when you said leather lungs, dude, I've never heard that except for that story, man. So we call Mike Leather Lungs since 1993. All Leather Lungs is back, and Dave's in the car driving like nobody had cell phones then, so we couldn't call him.
Right.
He couldn't call him, and he's like, "Holy shit, that's Mike!" So he's still up by. He's still an hour and a half away. So by the time he gets here, the game is going to be over. So he said he got home, the game is over. He called Mike's apartment, and Mike answered, and he's like, "Oh, fucking Leather Lungs." And Mike, of course, had no idea.
Right.
He's like, Harry and Whitey were calling you Leather Lungs on the radio. They said you were there all week.
That's awesome, man. Get called out.
That's so weird. And when you said it, I about shit myself. Oh my God, he just said Leather Lungs.
I've always said that about her, though. Her name's Leather.
Yeah.
She's got him, man. Leather Lungs.
I never heard that term until that story, and now you. That's funny.
What do you got? You listen to anything this week?
Yeah, dude, I actually went a little nutty. Not nutty, but I bought. Here, I'll just bring it all here because I have a couple things here that I haven't listened to yet. But I picked up the new Ozzy.
That's cool. What do you think? Or have you spun it yet?
Musically, I think it's great. Lyrically, I mean, his lyrics, not his lyrics, his voice in it is a bit suspect to me on this.
I'm probably going to skip.
I mean, obviously, guys like you and I know he doesn't write his own material. You know, he might write a medley or something like a melody or something like that, but I really find it very, very hard to believe that this guy's written it, that he writed his own lyrics for the last 30 years. I find that really hard to believe that he could.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but he just seems so frail now and shit. So musically, I thought it was a pretty decent record. I was surprised who's on it though.
Yeah, and like Duff McKagan and
Duff plays bass on it.
Yeah, but I heard him talking on Ozzy's Boneyard today. They had Ozzy and Duff and somebody else, a couple of them on there talking. It was just like, holy crap, he got like an all-star band together, I guess.
Yeah, but where the hell is Zach, man?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. When it comes to Ozzy, what was the first Zach album?
The one with Miracle Man on it.
Yeah. Fuck. What's the name of that album?
I could see it.
Wicked.
Something Wicked. This Way Comes. No,
I can't remember. But anyways,
God, man. Back fucking 30 years ago, I'd be like, oh, it's this though. I can tell you the whole track listing.
Yeah, you throw out an obscure.
No Rest for the Wicked.
That's it.
No Rest for the Wicked.
That's the last Ozzy album, new studio album I bought. No interest since then.
You didn't like No More Tears?
Uh-oh.
Wow. That was personally his last great record.
I know a lot of people talk about it. I don't know what it was. I was just kind of like done. I don't know. Zach, I thought was cool when he came in. That first album was cool, but kind of, you know, I'll take Jakey Lee and Randy over Zach.
Of course. Yeah, Randy over any of them. But
it sucked. I thought it sucked when Jakey Lee left. It was like, man, this dude's perfect. Well, you know, why is he going?
Oh, I could tell you. Probably, and they
screwed him over, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that and the look he had and the sound he had.
He was perfect. Off,
he looked like Jeff LaBar, or Jeff LaBar looked like him back then.
He was perfect mid-'80s.
Yeah, but for Ozzy, that wasn't perfect.
Right.
Like Bark at the Moon was probably as commercial as I would have loved Ozzy to have gotten.
Mm.
You know, you know, anything past that to me was not the same. Like he might as well have changed the logo or called it the Ozzy Band or just Ozzy or you know, it didn't have the band feel of the first three records. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
Right.
And you could tell like Ultimate Sin is kind of where the songwriting stopped for Ozzy and the outside writers started coming in because I think he was pretty bad with the drinking at that time too. I mean, there's shit he probably doesn't even remember recording.
But you got to remember the times, dude. Like Ultimate Sin is right in there with Turbo.
I hated that record, man.
What, Ultimate Sin?
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't that big on it when it came out. Now I'm fine with it. Same way with Turbo. Wasn't big on Turbo.
Now, I like Turbo. Yeah. I did like Turbo, but I was like I felt guilty for liking Turbo.
Really?
Yeah, because all my friends were like, "Oh, you know, back then we all knew Rob was gay.
Mm-hmm.
At least we had an inkling he was, but they were like, oh, they finally fagged out or something like that." And it's like, then it's like, look at the pictures and all these things. I'm like, all right, I get it. They look like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers did in that era.
Everybody was
trying to futuristic. Fucking Maiden did it with Wasted Years, and so that
Talkin had outfits and all that. It was that era, that right? What was it, 85, 86, right around in there.
So I mean, I get it, but then like when you see guys like Ozzy doing it, you're like, remember like the Ultimate Sin? He had like that silvery white sequin thing, whatever they're called, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like the white jumpsuit with the shit hanging off him from Sabbath days, right. I thought was gay.
Well,
but as I'm older, it was cool as shit. When I was a kid, I'm like, that's gay.
Right.
Like Freddie Mercury, that's pretty fucking gay. Like, but then I didn't know Freddie was gay when I was a kid.
Right.
And it wasn't like I used the word gay as a homophobic thing. It was more like he's wearing a girl's dress. That's gay.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way I associated with gay was like, oh, he's got a tank top on. He's gay. Girls only wear tank tops. And my mom's like, no, they don't. I'm like, thank God, I'm a fat kid. I'm hot. I'm wearing a tank top, you know.
If you take back, though, man, Ultimate Sin, it was like the most commercial grab for him. He's like you said, he's out there in this sequin thing. He's coming down out of the ceiling.
See, that's when it ends. That's when I think his input at all ended.
But think about this. That was his most commercial thing going. He goes on tour in the U.S. and who does he have open for him?
That was the Metallica years, wasn't it?
Right. He had Metallica opening for Master of Puppets. What do you think's going to happen? You know what I mean? It was like I saw that tour, and it was like,
yeah, I did too.
It's like, yeah.
He didn't really wear that kind of shit on stage, did he?
He was pretty close when we saw him. I mean, he had all the bells and whistles. They were good. I mean, it was Jakey Lee. I was happy to see Jake, but to see Metallica open up first was like, this is where we're going, not what Ozzy's doing.
Yeah, I kind of remember after Metallica left the stage thinking like, I don't even remember Ozzy at that point.
Oh, they owned the night when we saw him.
Yeah, because I think that's the same deal. Like I was like, holy fuck, those guys were amazing.
Especially if you knew going in. You know what I mean? It's like Metallica.
I knew very little of Metallica going in. I think I had just gotten, if gotten's a word, I'm not sure.
That's fine. We'll go with it.
Yeah. I just purchased Ride the Lightning, I think, and I was just kind of brand new to it, and it was weird because I'll tell you, I don't know why this just popped into my head, but I remember listening to the Ride the Lightning cassette in the back of my dad's truck. Mm-hmm. He would pick me up on Saturday nights at 5 o'clock. We'd hit his mother's house on the way home for dinner, who was elderly then, and from her house, she lived about 5 minutes from me where I live now. But then the drive from her house to my dad's house was always a half hour. So I always had my cassette tape because Dad listened to his AM rock radio and I didn't want to listen to that. So I could tell you that week I got Ride the Lightning and somebody gave me a live bootleg cassette of them at Castle Donington from like 2 weeks before.
Wow.
That's cool. Somebody gave it to me.
Hell yeah.
And I remember listening. It's fucking weird that just popped into my head because A, we were talking about Ride the Lightning, and B, I just heard a plane because we're right flight for Philly airport. And in that show, you hear a plane go over the crowd while Metallica's playing. Yeah.
That might have got your memory going. That was about the same for me, man. It was like I didn't hear Kill 'Em All until after Ride the Lightning. And to be honest, Ride the Lightning was like, this is cool. I wasn't sure if I get my head around it. And I heard it late after it come out. And then Master of Puppets come out, and it was like, what the hell was I thinking? You know what I mean? As soon as I heard Master of Puppets, it was like, okay, now I get all this.
I was the same way. I was Ride the Lightning first, then Kill 'Em All. But I liked Ride the Lightning more than Kill 'Em All at the time.
Yeah, I was the same way.
It felt like, which I think, were they a year apart or a year and a half apart, something like that, when Master came out?
Yeah, it's probably, about a year and a half.
I remember, and again, this just popped into my head. We just moved into this house that I'm in right now because I bought this house for my mother, believe it or not, 21 years ago now. So we bought this house. She bought this house in 86. Puppets was coming out. Did that come out in the summer?
I can't even remember now, dude.
Or late spring, because I remember it being hot out. Anyway, I said we have you've been here, the 2-car garage out back. We never parked in there because that garage was built in the 20s or 30s. Yeah. And the cars were a little smaller then. So we could never fit cars in there without having to bend the mirrors back. And even then, it wasn't 100% sure you were going to be able to close it. Yeah. So I turned when I was 15, I turned it into my bike studio because I had like 3 BMX bikes, all these parts.
That's cool.
Yeah, I would like fix shit and, just upgrade. The first cassette I listened to in that garage was Master of Puppets.
There you go. That album, man. Yeah, that album was like, it's so cliche. It's Metallica. Everybody talks about them.
It's my favorite one. It's my favorite metal album of all time.
Right here too, brother. That's, if anybody said what one metal album should I listen to, I don't listen to metal. It's like,
yeah, you got to get Puppets. Yeah. It's the only Metallica record right now that we stock brand new at the shop.
Really?
Yeah, because I refuse to pay full prices because they've gone up, even a little more now. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard, but the company that Warner Brothers uses to press had burned down.
Yeah,
Like,
the company makes the lacquers or whatever, or
yeah,
the stampers and all that
yeah.
shit. Like, yeah,
So they're like fucked. We
yeah.
haven't been able to get any of the Grateful Dead Warner Brothers titles in 6 months, and I know the pressing plant hasn't been 6 months since it closed. I
Yeah,
mean,
like,
since it burnt down, but now that it's not, we didn't have any Dead for Christmas Rush. We didn't have any, and now it's getting to the point where there was something else I was trying to order for somebody that should be common, and it's out of print now because it. And I looked, it's Warner Brothers. It's sad, man. But like I said, Puppets is the only one we'll carry because Metallica's prices, since they run their own shit, are cheap. We can put them out for $19.99.
there you go.
That seems to be, even I think it's still too high, but under $20 in this day and age for a record, brand new, 180 grams, pretty good.
Yeah,
It sucks. It sucks. Not, it sucks being a record collector, not only because I gotta have Ozzy on vinyl. I have to. I'm not buying it any other way but vinyl. I'm not like that. I love the way it sounds on vinyl.
yeah.
So it kills me that I've been buying more CDs.
Well, dude, it's crazy. Like, I was just looking the other day. Like, you're talking about Master of Puppets.
Mm-hmm.
Original pressings are pretty pricey now. I had no idea because I'm not really in the game that much anymore for that kind of stuff because I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I remember picking, it was nothing to find $10-12. Like, even 8-9 years ago, $15 for an original.
Now they go for mint. They go for 40
or more. Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah. Like, I've seen
Guess
some.
what? I'll be selling my Metallica collection. No, I'm just kidding.
I see some on eBay. People are asking $78. For the old
first. Yeah. No, I get it. I did have the first. I had a couple copies of the first Megaforce, Kill 'Em All.
Mm.
On vinyl and CD. Now the CD's way rarer than anything.
Mm.
The Megaforce version of it. And I found that, dude, in the first weekend or either the first or second time I went to Johnstown to visit my then girlfriend. She was my girlfriend then. My wife, obviously, but I said, "Oh, is there any record stores out here?" And she said, "Oh, there's a couple." And we drove 45 minutes to this one that she said was in Johnstown, which that's how I realized in Johnstown, if you got to go anywhere, it's going to be a fucking haul.
Yeah.
Like my area, I could spit on 7-Eleven and Wawa and, that kind of thing. So I was
in Johnstown, the old one.
What's that?
The old one in Johnstown that you
it's not there anymore. I know which one you mean. George's.
Yeah.
I love that place, man.
Is it still there?
Yeah, he's still there.
I need to get back.
This one was like you had to go through the downtown Johnstown and then up over another hill,
mm-hmm.
and then follow the main road, and it's right there. But from her parents' house, it took her parents' house into the city of Johnstown takes me about 25 minutes, and that's one road.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, you have to travel everywhere there.
You're right.
So we get out to this record store. I think it was, that's for some reason I'm thinking it was called Records Off the Wall, but I could be that might have been a change from back in the day. Anyway, I go in and I see the Kill 'Em All in the Metallica section. So I just I noticed the logo and the picture were bigger than the actual Elektra version.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just blown up. That's all it was. And I'm like, that looks weird. And I flipped it over and I saw Megaforce on it.
Yeah.
And it was like $7 or something. So I just bought it. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I've never seen that because this is like 1991. 92.
What do those go for now? I don't even know.
Dude, I sold that like 10 years ago for like over $300, and they could go for more now.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the CD. Now the vinyl you could probably get 100 for the original Kill 'Em All.
Right. I
And
do
then
have I have the Mega Force Kill 'Em All. I
yeah,
think.
me too. And I have the Mega Force Ride the Lightning as
Right.
well. And
Yeah.
that I think that probably goes for a little more than Kill 'Em All because they ended up pulling those,
Mm-hmm.
and then Elektra reissued it like 2 weeks later or something.
Right. And then what was it? Music for Nation also. They're on.
The UK versions of that stuff, yeah.
I have,
And I think some of the later shit, like once they hit the Black album, or even maybe Justice, I think it was like Vertigo, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, you might be right. Over in UK, you mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, I got that, the Ozzy. And then I just picked up like a couple real quick blues things at work because they came in, they weren't in the best shape. So I cleaned them, and they ended up, they were going to go in our dollar bin. So Dave's like, just take them for now until I get better ones. But Mississippi John Hurt today.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That one's not, the cover's beat. Like somebody drew on it.
Right.
But there's one little scratch on the record. That's the only, the only
Blues
thing.
album, man, that doesn't bother me. Like,
Yeah.
cover like that.
Yeah. And then the legendary Sun House.
That's cool.
I haven't listened to this yet because I just picked this one up. But that was another one, like, it was so dirty, it had mold on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck, I didn't want to take it. I'm like, I can't take that, because I don't want that moldy shit in the store because then it does spread.
Yeah.
Especially if it's in a box that we can't get to right away. So I'm like, I put it in $1, like the scratched up shit that we were going to put that's clean in, not really scratched, but just not perfect, into our dollar bin. So we usually give people 33 cents, for buying them, and then put them in the dollar bin. So I put this in the dollar, in the pack for the dollar bin, and I put it aside. I'm like, I really don't want that mold. I'm like, I'll just, I said, there's mold all over this. I'm just going to throw it out, and he was like, all right, cool. So I threw it on the counter, and it was the only one that was moldy. It was so weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot about it, and it was sitting up on one thing, and I grabbed it, and I said, let me try and clean it. Dude, I cleaned it. It's fucking spotless. The vinyl's like mint.
Right on.
The inside I sprayed, we have like that mold. It gets rid of the mold and shit.
Yeah.
I just sprayed a paper towel, soaked it, dried it, did it again, dried it overnight, and you would never know now. But
cool.
But that's why I haven't listened to it yet, because I just put it back together from cleaning it. So, but then the last one I picked up, this came in. This was like brand new, but it's on Bluesville, the Memphis Slim, all kind of blues.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think this is. I don't know if this is a reissue of an early album or if this is like, they released it as this title in the early 80s or late 70s. But I think it's definitely like one of those mid to late 70s pressings.
Cool.
But it sounds killer.
Man, your blues collection just keeps growing. That's killer.
Dude, that's all. Honestly, that's all I buy. I buy like the Ozzy's. Out of all the other things I have sitting right here, which is only like a couple, maybe about 5 more things. The Ozzy's the only major label. I buy all independent rock now and blues.
Cool.
Yeah, my blues collection's stupid right now. Stupid big. Killer. But I can't stop buying it, man. When I see shit like, I probably have everything that's on this 100 times over. But I don't have it with that cover. And
yeah, got to add it to the collection.
And like, especially the old blues guys, man. Like, there's no cooler pictures than those guys.
Yeah,
because it's like he's just him smoking a fucking cigarette. There's nothing saying even what this is,
dude. Do you ever watch Grown Man Record Night?
No, you told me about that before, and I forget.
One of their key things is you never pass up an album, an old album, if there's a black and white picture of a black man smoking a cigarette.
Dude, I've lived by that mantra for 40 years,
Yeah.
man.
Like jazz albums, blues albums, rock albums, anything.
That's how I found um God damn it. He was on Alligator Records.
Hound Dog?
Yes, that's how I found Hound Dog in 80. Dude, I can tell you exactly where I was. I was at Plastic Fantastic, the name of the place was. I want to say it was like 86, 87 because I used to take the train.
Yeah.
It's about a half hour from here on the same strip that I live on. So the train runs, you can get to anything really. So at like 14, 15 years old, any money that me and my buddies would get, we'd hop the train without telling anybody and go a half hour and hit Plastic Fantastic.
Yeah.
And they were the type of store back then, they would get, like the new Ozzy came out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They would get 30 promos of the vinyl.
Holy shit.
And put them out for like $6.99.
Right.
Because they knew all the DJs in town. They were one of the biggest record stores in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And I worshiped that store. Matter of fact, that's where I met Dave, the guy I currently work with.
That's cool.
When I was a kid, I would go to things, and I got to know him because Dave is one of the most generous people I think I've ever met in my lifetime. And he remembers shit, and he remembers faces. And so when I started going there with my buds as a kid, that wasn't his store. He was working for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go in. After about a month or so, he started pulling boxes up for, here, guys, take a look at this.
Oh, yeah. You talked about that before. We'd have the cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I would start going through, and like he would have he'd have the Ozzy in there. He'd have behind that would have like 3 or 4 different promo 12-inch singles of like whatever was hot then.
Yeah.
Saying like it was 86 or 87. Like the Cult.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got all the promo Cult singles there.
That's cool.
Just like Lita Ford and like all the metal shit that he would get in used too, yeah. He'd put in a box. And they were always like $4. Back then. I would love to I would love to sell records like that for $4.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, but I wouldn't make any money. So,
right.
So then it was weird. Like, as I got older, Repo opened up, which Repo I used to manage for 5 years or so. And they're like the hot shit record store downtown now.
Mm-hmm.
And, I wouldn't go to Plastic as much because Repo was closer to me. And Repo was a little more hip to the 17-year-olds. They
right.
were doing punk metal, where Plastic was, like I said, Dave's 67, so he was doing at the time, the Almonds and classic rock, and that kind of shit was still huge.
Yeah.
But they ended up leaving Bryn Mawr when Repo moved in, or vice versa. I think no, Repo moved into Bryn Mawr because Plastic Fantastic had moved another 10 or 15 minutes down towards Philly.
Yeah.
To a bigger spot. I mean, I know why they did it. And the town's called Ardmore. And Ardmore is like, right now, I would love to have the shop in Ardmore right now. It's like hipster central down there. So the first time I go to Plastic Fantastic in Ardmore, no Dave. So yeah, he left. Mm-hmm. So I didn't see Dave for years until I knew that they had to stop the store in Wayne, which is 10, 15 minutes from me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those things, like I never got the opportunity to stop in. And I didn't know, because people had said it's all CDs and, it's all... do you guys have XPN down there?
No.
I didn't know if that was like a Philly thing or
Is that a shop?
Huh?
Is that a shop or
No,
what is?
XPN's a radio station.
Oh no.
But they play like the singer songwriter shit, but like the more adult oriented kind of
Okay.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
not James Taylor, but like they would play like
Sheryl Crow and
no, well maybe, but like the new shit. Like they would play um
you're gonna name somebody I don't know
I
anyway.
know. It's so hard because I don't know them either, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like they would play Charles Bradley maybe
Yeah.
sometimes. Do you know Charles Bradley?
Yeah.
They
The
would
James
play
Brown kind of guy.
what's that?
James Brown kind of dude. Is that what
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah, he passed away
about? Yeah.
last year, I think. But they play more like I keep saying like I keep fucking Dan Fogelberg keeps popping in my head
All
because
right.
that's what I think of like it's fucking Dan Fogelberg music, you know.
All
So I have
right.
no interest in it, but I didn't know if it was um just a Philly thing or if it was like nationwide. But they play all that kind of shit, and people had told me that that store was kind of like aimed towards those people. So I just didn't have any interest. I had no idea who the owner was. But then I was 11, 12 years ago now. I stopped um, at the time was a news agency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you guys, we call them news agencies here, but it's like basically where people get their lottery tickets, cigarettes, and newspapers and
Yeah. Like a
cigars.
newsstand kind of thing.
Newsstand, right? I don't know if they're called news agencies all over the country, but like I just have a weird feeling that's a Philly
Yeah.
term. But anyway, um, where the fuck was I going with this story?
So
I
you
know.
found out he was running.
Oh
Or
yeah,
he,
so I stopped at the news agency, right, and I looked up and I see Shady Dog Records, and I said, "Oh, this must be the place that was in Wayne," because I
Mhm.
knew the name. So I pop in, and who's standing behind the counter? Fucking Dave. And I was like I saw a ghost, man, or like I found my long lost dad.
right.
Yeah, I went up, I gave him a hug, and he knew, of course, he knew me right away, and
That's cool.
it had been over 10 years since I seen him.
Wow.
And of course I looked totally different. I was an adult with a fucking beard and kids, and
Right.
so, but it was like one of those things. Like as soon as I would stop there every day, and
Yeah.
just start raiding all the LPs and shit, and then I started stopping in there and not buying anything and just hanging with Dave. And Dave's like, "You might as well just fucking work here." After
yeah.
I got fucked over by that other dude, that story.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah, and that's
yeah.
what sent me off into Depressionville. And
Yeah. But look where you ended up, though. Definitely
I
happy.
know I'm fucking way happier, but still dealing with depression because of that. I
Yeah.
don't even think about that asshole anymore. But now the fucking shit in your brain, the chemical changes when when shitty things happen to you like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Set you off for a while. I know.
Yeah, but I'm definitely way happier, and I'm like I've been real. I've been pretty fucking good the last month or so
Right
knock
on.
wood. So yeah, man, that was like how that started with Shady Dog. Was like he's like, yeah, it was one of those things. Like I would go and just hang out with Dave and Mike, and they're like, "Why don't you just work here?" And I was like,
Okay.
yeah. At the time, it was like before I left I got screwed. I worked there part time. Like I'd go to the warehouse that I worked at, and then go to Dave. And then when I got fucked over, it was like a month after that I actually left the house. After all that, after about a month after it happened, I had lost like 45, 50 pounds, just not eating. I was sleeping all the time. And almost like my dad came down and he doesn't know how to deal with people with depression at all. My mom does. And it was new, totally new to me as well. And dad was like, you keep acting like that, people are going to think you're guilty. And I looked at him and I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. It's, I can't believe you said that, but you're right. Like,
Yeah.
I have nothing to be fucking upset about. I didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll come out, then I started getting pissed.
Right.
And I think once I started getting pissed, Dave's like, why don't you come work with me full time? Like,
Yeah.
and then like, maybe you shouldn't poke the bear,
Yeah.
So, but I'm forever grateful to Dave, man. He pulled me out of it and
I got to come up
made
here
me,
and check out that store. I haven't.
yeah, I mean, it's just, it's just, people call it a junk shop,
Mm.
but with records in it.
Uh,
And that's the way we keep it.
hell yeah, man.
If you're willing to dig, you can look wherever you want,
Right on. So sometimes those are the best places, man. You never know what you're going to
Yeah.
find.
Yep.
Been there forever.
I mean, it's a pain in the ass trying to find something. When
Yeah.
if you're looking, it's somewhere. You're like, I think it's over in this general region.
Yeah.
That's a pain in the ass. But other than that, I love it, man.
All right, man. Do you got any
You have
anything else, or do you want to do
just
the
quick
what?
yeah, I'll show. I'm gonna give you a rundown next time, like because I haven't listened to all these yet. I finally got the junkyard.
Right on.
Yeah,
I'm loving that thing, man.
yeah, but I got the UK or the German Super Suckers.
Ah, right on.
This has a bonus track called "Ain't No Day" that's not on anything else.
When's it come out in the U.S.? I got a
It's
pre-order.
out on CD already.
Okay.
It came out 2 weeks ago or last Friday, maybe
The vinyl's the end of the month, right? I think.
March 13th. But if you pre-ordered it through,
I did Amazon.
okay, but if you pre-ordered it through Reptilian, where they have it, plus you could have picked the limited color thing. They do. You get it a couple weeks early, so it's shipped on Monday, and I should have it today or next Monday, the US version. But the regular, I don't even know what color the regular version is. I got solicited at work for the shop is March 13th.
Okay.
So that's when it officially comes out. It's March 13th on vinyl. And again, the reason why it's late is because of that place burning down. It should have come out like everything else they do. It would have come out the same day, but
all right,
it was delayed because of the fire. Fucking great record, dude. Every track on there I love. Then I picked up these two, Hot Breath, 6-song EP on, I think this is on the Sign Records, which I love the Sign Records. If have you listened to anything on this label yet?
No, I don't think so. What's that band like?
This is Hot Breath, they're called.
Uh-huh.
It's a female singer, but she's killer. I mean, she's got some pipes on her.
Like a hard rock kind of thing?
Or? Yeah, like 70s hard rock, AC/DC maybe. The first track.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, is that Black?
Yeah.
Yeah, Black.
I'll have to check them out. I haven't heard
Yeah,
that.
dude, I think you'll like these guys a lot. I was trying to think. There was something else on the Sign Records that's coming out that I can't wait for. This label, man, they put out God damn it. I'm drawing a fucking blank today, man. This is ridiculous. Anyway, just go to the Sign, just Google the Sign Records. You might even have something.
Yeah, I'll have to look and
see. Yeah, but I think it's a new up and coming for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
From what I know, it's up and coming. I could be wrong, but label. But they've been putting out really good stuff. But it's like classic hard rock, girl singer, female singer. She's killer.
That'll be right up my alley.
Yeah, and then Gunpowder Gray EP called Lethal Rock and Roll.
And what is that?
Yeah. This is this year. This just came out too. Now the Hot Breath I think's been out on CD for, I want to say like 4 months, 3 months. And I had pre-ordered the LP through work, and it just kept getting
Pushback.
Yeah, pushback. Now I don't know why it's an import. I don't think it's a U.S. label. I don't think. I could be wrong. These guys. Where's my old man glasses? Midnight Cruiser Records.
I haven't heard of that either.
Gunpowder Gray. I think this is an EP. It's 4 songs. But I think this is their second EP.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to look more into it. Black. Cool. I have to get used to actually being the right way on this camera.
Yeah, it's reversed.
Backwards.
Yeah.
I think they have another EP out. I'm not 100% sure if it's pressed on vinyl or anything, or if it's just a digital download.
Mm-hmm.
But I like these guys. I thought they were trying to give you like kind of Motorhead sounding, maybe Motorhead, little punkier Motorhead with like a 70s New York sound.
That's cool.
Yeah, pretty killer though.
I'll have to look for them.
They're Gunpowder Gray, and like I said, I think they have another EP out, but I'm not 100% sure if it's available on a physical media. And my last thing I always have to show something new from AC/DC. If you want more blood.
Cool. Another boot.
Yeah.
Right.
I just got this yesterday, so I haven't even cracked it yet, but it's Manchester, England, May 6th, 78. So it's my favorite tour.
Hell yeah.
Power Age tour, but
dude, I'm in the process of pulling all my boots, and I want to put them all together in just bootleg section.
That's awesome.
Metallica with Metallica, Slayer, and all that. But now, I want to put them all just bootlegs, everything, no matter what it is. ZZ Top, Rolling Stones.
Oh man, when you do that, we got to do a live video showing me everything.
That's cool. Yeah, we can try that.
I would love to see what you have, because I'd be like, oh, dude, make a copy of that for me. Yeah, I mean, dude, and I've said this to you before, probably 1,000 times. If I'm gonna spend like $50 on a record, I'd rather spend $50 on like the bootleg shit.
Yeah.
Because to me, most of them, I'll say 70% of them, actually give a fuck about what they're putting out, not like it was in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
where it was just a sheet on a white cover,
Some of the shit, man, like I just got this in.
I as soon as we got on video, I saw that in the background, and I was going to ask you about it before we got off. How is that?
It's pretty good, man. I mean, it's
an audience or soundboard.
I can't tell.
Okay.
At the beginning, it sounds audience. By the end, it sounds soundboard, kind of.
So they might have
pieced it, kind of soundboard.
So you think they might have pieced it together?
I don't know. I don't think it's that. I think
it just got better as it went on.
Yeah, whatever was going on.
Probably the master got better sounding as it went on.
That, or if the person in the audience was recording it was moving around to find the best spot, or if they were dialing everything in on the board, whatever. I don't know, but it's like
that's perfect. See, I don't think that far ahead, man. I'm not as smart as you are.
But this, like you said, they do killer jobs on these, man. This is gatefold 2LP.
Is that don't tell me the label. Is that Casino Heavy Metal? That's the one that they did that. I have it. Not Somewhere in Time, Seventh Sun tour.
Yeah, I got that one too. I think it's got the blue icy cover,
like Seventh Sun.
Yeah,
kind of, and it's an audience, but a killer audience tape.
I haven't spun that one yet.
It's good, and cool. The packaging on that's fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah, man, it's like these new boots. They don't screw around, man.
Yeah, I love, especially that label, that metal. Yeah. I would buy that in a heartbeat if I found it cheap. And you've been getting them.
I've been buying.
I'm not gonna say where you get them, because then somebody will nail them all from you. But online,
yeah, I've been finding them online, and
the same one you got the Aussie from, right?
Yeah,
I go on there after you told me, and I never find anything because you fucking grab it all before.
Be
Yeah,
honest,
no, they must only get one copy
that's
of
what I
it.
was getting ready to say. Yeah, and there's a shop pretty local to me that gets a good bit in, and he's pretty cool. I'm like, dude, anything 80s metal,
Mm-hmm.
text me a picture. So he'll, as soon as he gets something in, he's like, you need this, need this. I'm like, yep, nope. You know what I mean?
We're actually doing that today, man. Like later on this afternoon, my son's out working now, busting his ass to try to get off work early because some local record shop that I go to, I haven't been to in since the summer.
Yeah.
I know Jason over there is gonna be pissed at me, but they got a load of classic rock in, and he's about ready to shit himself at work because he's like, "We gotta go, man. I gotta get home." I'm like, "Dude, you are me, fucking."
That's great. He's got the bug,
Oh,
bro.
and now the little one has the turntable with the speakers, and
That's
he
awesome.
he sits there like this, like listening. And I'll just look into like I'll pop in his room because he has his own room now. Hence the new look and the reason why I'm in this music room is now. Well, this music room used to be our dining room for
Right.
now. So, but he'll have it blasting so he doesn't hear me coming up the steps, and I poke my head in the room and he's just
Checking everything
popping
out.
his head. But I'll tell you what, like, I don't know if I told you this before, but if we talked about this before, they're really into this Mac Miller kid that died, rap kid.
What I saw somebody just died in California or something, but I have no idea who it is.
Yeah, this kid died last year from
What's in there?
he was doing heroin, obviously, yeah, and he got bad. He got a bad batch, I think, yeah,
Oh,
with the
yeah.
fentanyl in it and killed him. But the kid's lyrics are real deep, and just to read the lyrics, you're like, holy fuck, man, this kid is deep.
Yeah.
Musically, not my thing, especially his early shit.
Mm-hmm.
But he played me like his last record. They actually both my boys played me his last record, and I think he has a new one that just dropped that he was either working on or just finished before he was before he died. And it's not what you would think it would. It is.
Huh.
It's like it's like a dark singer-songwriter with a touch of hip hop, and his vocal style is like he's not one of those like screaming fast rap bullshit guys nowadays.
Right.
But and his message, he's the kids love him. Like my oldest son gets physically upset when he hears something new from Mac and he hears the lyrics, and he'll start like tearing up. That's how deep
They're
this kid
into it.
is,
Yeah. Wow.
And to me, all these years, it's been like, oh, fuck that guy. He's one of those stupid ass Vanilla Ice,
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the way I think about all those guys. And it's sad that I think that way, but my hate for
Rap.
hate's a strong word. My dislike for current R&B and hip hop just ruins everything for me. Like I love the old shit. I love Bell Biv DeVoe and Boys to Men. I won't turn that stuff off.
Yeah.
I don't own it, but I won't turn it off,
Right.
And because it's decently well written music.
Mm.
These guys nowadays, man.
I don't get any of it. Yeah, it's an age thing, it's not our stuff, I guess.
And it's that fast rap shit. Like, and it's funny because Snoop and Dr. Dre are always like, dude, slow the fuck down.
Right.
And it's because they're stoned all the time, and I get it, But like even today, if Snoop were to put a record out, I don't think I would bother with it. As much as I love the old shit, I just don't. I have no desire to hear stuff like that anymore.
Dude, it never caught me. I mean, I had some Run DMC and NWA, their first album.
Yeah.
That's literally it as far as rap.
No, it caught me like because a lot of my friends in football in high school listened to it. A lot of my best friends then were totally different than I was. As far as like I was the headbanger, smoker that hung out and smoked pot all the time, but you came across the middle on the football field and I'd take your fucking head off,
Right.
And my best friends growing up with me were jocks. when we hit high school, but we were all still like brothers, you know, like we grew up together since we were kindergarten. My buddy Chris, he's like, I always introduced him to everybody as my cousin because it's just easier that way because his mother and my mother were like inseparable when they were kids.
I'm sorry. I was waiting for you to say his mother and my mother were mothers.
They were like mothers, dude. If I would just hit the pipe that I have right here, I probably would have said that. I would have Tommy Chonged out for sure. No, they were like best friends in the 60s, growing up in the late 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And Cindy, his mother, just happened to get pregnant like 3 weeks before my mom and dad did.
Right. And then you guys end up being.
Yeah, dude. I right now, as fucking mad as I am at him, because he didn't show up at my grandmother's funeral, I haven't talked to him since, and I won't, because he knew my grandmother like his grandmother.
Right.
And it pisses me off that he didn't show up. But if he were to call, if my cell phone were to ring and it said Chris on it, I'd be like, yo, what's up, man?
Yeah.
It's like one of those things. Like I don't hate him, but I'm upset that he didn't show up.
Right.
And I've heard things over the last couple of years that kind of bothered me about him, like his health and his state of mind. Like I think somebody told me he had a nervous breakdown.
Oh shit.
But I don't know. I don't know if that's true. And I'm not, I heard, that's why I say I tell people that are close to him still, or I could easily ask his wife. I'm friends with his wife on Facebook, but that's not for me to I heard Chris had a nervous breakdown.
Right.
I'm not going to say that, I'm not even going to ask it. So when people say that I know that I'm close to, yeah, I heard he had a nervous breakdown, but I'm not 100% sure because he's never come out and told me. But if he did, that upsets me, man, because he knows that he could just fucking knock on my front door, back door. Fuck, the guy could even just walk in. He doesn't even have to knock. That's how close we are. And if that happened to him, it bothers me that he didn't reach out for help from me or something. You know what I mean? That's how close we are. But I still slap him in his bald head for not showing up to my grandmother's funeral. Unfortunately, his mother passed away from cancer 3 years ago. That's the last time I saw him.
Wow.
And that day it was she was like another mother to me. So it was that day was about her, and I wasn't going to be fuck you for not showing up.
Right. Yeah.
I just went in I hadn't seen them in probably 4 years, but it was we saw each other yesterday, and that's just our relationship. So
Brother, we're coming up on 2 hours.
I know this is awesome. You know why? Because it's Saturday. Nobody's home here.
Look, we were talking about kicks in this video.
Yeah, I know.
We're not gonna have time to do it this time.
Yeah, we are. Why, you got a jet?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take off here pretty soon.
All right, cool.
Got the
so I'll tell you what. Since this was, I even broadcasted this on there as the kicks video. So we'll change the kicks video until the next one, and we'll do it Monday night.
We can try. Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday. We'll do it fairly soon.
Yeah, put it that way.
And we'll start off the next episode with it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were at 1 hour 48.
Yeah, we're coming up on 2. They just
That's
keep.
I talked the whole fucking time, didn't I?
Go for it. All right. Yeah, I am going to have to wrap it up though.
All right, bro.
Dogs are getting pissed and everything else.
Yeah.
All right, come here. So, as always, it's good doing it with you. And we got to line up another guest here pretty soon.
Yep.
We got going to have Vance Zep Pearl not long ago, but he was sick when we were trying to do it, and this is the first time we got back to do one since. So I have to contact him if he's ready to roll again.
Right on. All right, brother. Well, yeah, you're the in charge of hooking up our special guests unless somebody plops into my lap and
all right. We'll get somebody in here.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Dude, I told you that once we started talking about anything and everything, it leads to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And the main reason why we did today, we didn't even get to.
Dude, when we started this, I was like, okay, look, I'm going to try. Let's try and keep it like to an hour.
Yeah. And what did I tell you?
We didn't even get to our topic.
Because I even had it all pulled. I said, there's no fucking way that we're going to be doing this. So.
All right. Next time.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, brother. Later.
See ya.